It's that time again. Time for another episode of Shelve It or Shove It, the completely superficial way to pick books for your TBR based solely on their covers. I am your hostess, Daisy X Machina, the drag queen detective who investigates all things speculative in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Today, I'll be looking at new releases for the month of April to pick one book for my TBR in May, just looking at the covers, nothing else. I'll be looking at science fiction, fantasy, and horror. It's the silliest way to pick a book, but hey, it answers the question, can you judge a book by its cover? Let's get started with science fiction. First up is We Burned So Bright by T.J. Klune. Now, I did enjoy House in the Cerulean Sea. I never read the sequel, but I did enjoy the found family storyline, and I have a review. I'll link it up here. I did not read the sequel, and I don't think, have I read anything else by T.J. Klune? Yes, I've read one of his middle grades, but we're just looking at the cover here. We Burned So Bright. I actually like this cover. I liked how this looks kind of like those little miniature models with this RV, and looks like there's a highway sign. And yeah, I do like this artwork. It's kind of cool. We burn so bright. The tagline is, where will the end of the world take you? So we have an RV, so we're on some type of journey at the end of the world. And I like this brush stroke in the moon, and it looks like the moon is cracked. So I'm assuming dystopian, end of the world, dying Earth type story. But there's hope because there's flowers growing in the foreground. I like this cover. I'm going to go ahead and shelve it. Next up is James S.A. Corey, The Faith of Beasts. And I'm a huge fan of the Expanse series, read the entire series, loved it. James S.A. Corey is, of course, the names of two co-writers who wrote The Expanse and this new series. I believe this is a continuation of a new series because I've seen it before. There's a recommendation by John Scalzi, a little blurb that says, no one builds a universe like James S.A. Corey. I could not disagree with that. The cover, I'm not a big fan of this cover. I don't think any of the Expanse covers was really breathtaking. This has two sort of ships. Maybe one's a salvage ship, The Faith of Beasts. I'm not that impressed by the cover. I'm going to have to shove it. Next up is The Subtle Art of Folding Space by John Chu. And this cover is so neat. We have, it looks like these baskets for steaming. There's 3 of them, and there's dumplings in them. He's award-winning author, John Chu, is what it says. I haven't read him before, I don't think. But a recommendation says, a work of crystalline vision and meticulous humanity. I'm not sure what this could be about, but I love this illustration. I love these steamed buns and dumplings, and it looks like the hand at the bottom with chopsticks is pulling out planets in the steamed basket. And this is so intriguing. Again, not sure what it could be about. The title is very clever. Sometimes you can get a book just by the title, and The Subtle Art of Folding Space. I'm guessing some type of alternate dimension or dimensional travel or tesseracts. I love this cover. I'm going to have to shelve it. Next up is The Infinite Sadness of Small Appliances. by Glenn Dixon. Don't know this author. But again, I just said sometimes the title can really carry the weight of picking a book by the cover. This title is fantastic. The Infinite Sadness of Small Appliances. And we have these very graphic illustrations, a little clock, a birdhouse, a refrigerator, a Roomba. So I'm thinking these little appliances have some type of AI intelligence or awakening, and they're kind of being left behind. That's why they're sad. Oh, this is so clever. And I like the color blocking. It looks a little bit retro. You know I'm going to have to shelve it. Finally, in science fiction, Underlake by Aaron L. McCoy. I am not a big fan of this cover. We have this blob. I guess it's a setting moon or something, but it could just be a bubble floating in water, or the underlake, something beneath the surface of a lake. Susanna Quan says it's spellbinding, and that may be so, but the cover is not spellbinding for me. It's just very simple. It's kind of bland. The colors are kind of washed out. Not a fan. I'm going to have to shove it. Now we move on to fantasy. And first up is The Book Witch by Meg Schaefer, best-selling author of The Wishing Game. I don't know this author or this book or The Wishing Game. And I did mention before, because I am seeing it so much, there are so many books out that are centered on books or libraries or things like that. Here we have no exception. And the cover's kind of cute. There's these books floating around. There's a cat on a piece of paper. Love that. And a woman with an umbrella. I kind of like the idea of a book witch. I'm kind of getting Mary Poppins too because of the umbrella, but this cover, I'm not a big fan when the text is sort of the center stage of the cover, and that's what this is, and there's a few little items floating around it. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shut it. Next up is Honor and Heresy by Max Francis, a Gothic academia novel. There's a tagline, "What is love without its tragedy?" A Gothic academia novel kind of tells me this is a series, the Gothic Academia series, and I haven't read any of them, and I'm assuming this is not the first one. And like I said before, when the text is the main feature of a cover, I'm not a huge fan, especially when the title isn't that interesting. That's what's happening here, Honor and Heresy. I'm much more interested in this image behind it, which, surprise, surprise, looks like a library, or this Gothic academia. And there's two figures. We just see their backs going through it. I'm kind of getting more of a contemporary setting. Maybe historical, but like the 40s, 50s. And I think it's a little boring. Yeah, I'm going to have to say it. I think it's a little boring. So I'm going to have to shove it. Next is Thistlemarsh by Nuria Corrigan. The fairies are moving in is the tagline. And Sarah Beth Durst says it is completely and wonderfully enchanting. I kind of like the colors here. I like these really deep jewel tones and this carved intricate door. The fairies are moving in. So a novel about fairies, maybe going into fairyland. Maybe this is a portal fantasy where we find a door into fairyland, maybe. Thistlemarsh. I don't know. I just like the cover. I just like the colors and the details and how deep it looks. I am I'm going to shelve it. Next up is Witch Queen Rising by Savannah Stevens. Tagline is once an outcast, forever a queen. And there is this woman floating up, rising up behind a wall. Maybe she's just standing. She kind of looks like she's floating. This very majestic looking black woman with the stars behind her. And I have to tell you, I like this type of artwork. This is the type of artwork that really draws me in. And even though I think it looks a little bit generic in terms of fantasy covers, because I'm not really sure what else is going on besides having the Witch Queen here. I'm assuming she is the Witch Queen in sort of a fantasy land. It looks like there's this huge moon behind her. Even though I think the subject of the illustration looks a little bit generic, because I like the illustration so much, I'm going to shelve it. Finally, in fantasy, Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. And tagline is Fear the Monsters We Make. So Frankenstein type theme, maybe. There is a sword and a tree, so maybe not Frankenstein. I'm kind of curious what's behind all that. It looks like maybe another door or something. Not sure. There's a crown on the tree as well. I think this is very generic, and yeah, I'm not that impressed with it. I do like the artwork, but it's just not telling me anything, and especially since there are no sparrows on a book about sparrows, or the Shield of Sparrows, and no shield for that matter. So I'm going to go ahead and shove it. Now we move on to horror. And first up is She Made Herself a Monster by Anna Kovecheva. And Ping Shepard, who I don't know, says it's kind of vampire story, one in which the real evil is us. So it's a vampire story, and we get this sort of old style painting figure, sort of, I don't know, Raphaelite maybe. And it's cut kind of weird because you just see like partial faces and arms. I'm not really a fan of this cover. And the more I look at it, the more I dislike it. And I'm not even sure if this is going to be a historical vampire book. I think. I'm just going to go ahead and shove it. Next up is Nowhere Burning by Catriona Ward. Best-selling author of Looking Glass Sound. Don't know the author of these works. Olivia Blake says nothing short of spellbinding. Again, this cover is not spellbinding to me. It looks like there's these antlers with rope or string around it that is on fire. I don't know what this could be about at all, except sort of outdoors with deer antlers. Who knows? I am going to have to shove it. Next up is Dollface by Lindy Ryan, Bram Stoker Award finalist. And Delia Dawson says, a whimsical, bloody, unsettling slasher with an unexpected twist. Now, up front, I like this cover. I like the sort of unexpected horror covers where there's like this pink color and these cut out lips and eyes. I am just not a fan of slasher novels in my horror. I want my horror supernatural, but you know, there's always exceptions, and this is such an exceptional cover. I think I'm going to have to shelve it. Next up is For Human Use by Sarah G. Pierce. Tagline is Modern Dating is Dead. And there's some type of blurb here from Heather O'Neill, author of The Irish Goodbye, utterly ingenious horror rom-com. darkly zeitgeisty, and unnervingly plausible. Funny as hell. Okay, well, I like that blurb much more than I do the cover. Horror, rom-com, dark zeitgeist, plausible, but what a cover. These sort of very bad, like 3D hands. One's kind of colorful, and this sort of dull salmon background. Yeah, do not like this cover at all. I'm going to have to shove it. Finally, in horror is Warning Signs by Tracy Sierra, author of Night Watching. Well, I appreciate we did not get any haunted house books this month for horror. And this one, okay, it's about an elk. Warning Signs ticks every box for an attentive, commanding thriller. Breathtaking, says Jeffrey Deaver. Don't know who that is. Anyway, so it's a simple cover because it's snow with an elk walking through it. What I do like about this is the trail the elk is leaving behind is sort of also crossing the title letters. Other than that, I don't know, an outdoor thriller horror, not really my style. I think I'm going to have to shove it. Okay, it looks like we have shelved 3 science fiction. We Burn So Bright by TJ Klune, The Subtle Art of Folding Space by John Chu, and The Infinite Sadness of Small Appliances by Glenn Dixon. We've shelved 1 fantasy, Thistlemarsh by Maria Corrigan, and 1 horror, Dollface by Lindy Ryan. Okay, looking at these, I kind of am leaning towards science fiction because I don't think I've chosen a science fiction this year. So let's say no to Dollface and Thistlemarsh. That leaves We Burn So Bright by TJ Klune, who is a known quantity. I know I like this author's writing. And these other 2, I don't know. I don't believe I've read John Chu or Glenn Dixon. And okay, just looking at the covers, just the covers. I'm going to say no to We Burn So Bright by TJ Klune. I don't think it has the impact and the title of the other 2. The Subtle Art of Folding Space and The Infinite Sadness of Small Appliances. I'm going with John Chu. I'm going with The Subtle Art of Folding Space. I just love the covers. I love that steaming containers and 3 levels. There's planets in the bottom one. There's dumplings and steamed buns. I mean, it's such a fun, whimsical cover. But let's go ahead and read the blurb and see what I've really gotten myself into. The Subtle Art of Folding Space is the exhilarating debut science fiction novel from Nebula and Hugo-winning author John Chu. Channels unhinged physics, generational trauma, and the comfort of really good dim sum. This isn't your usual jaunt through quantum physics. Ellie's universe, and this one, is falling apart. Her ailing mother is in a coma. Her sister Chris accuses her of being insufficiently Chinese between assassination attempts. And a shadowy cabal of engineers is trying to hijack the Skunk Works, the machinery that keeps the physics of each universe working the way it's supposed to. Daniel, Ellie's cousin, has found an illicit device in the Skunk Works. One that keeps Ellie's comatose mother alive while also creating destabilizing bugs in the physics of the universe. It's not a good day. If she can confront her mother's legacy and overcome her family's generational trauma, she might find a way to preserve the Skunk Works and reconcile with her sister. But digging into her family's past is thornier than it seems, and the secrets she uncovers will force Ellie to choose between her family and the universe itself. Okay, there's a lot going on there. I'm kind of surprised this is the debut novel because this author, John Chu, has won Nebula and Hugo's before, so I guess for short stories or shorter fiction. And I'm always excited to find debut authors, so that's very exciting. The plot itself, I was kind of had a inkling it might be some type of alternate universe or, the folding space business, and that's what this is. And it sounds kind of whimsical and funny because we have something called the Skunk Works, which is machines that is keeping the physics of each universe going. And I'm a little apprehensive about this family's generational trauma, because that seems kind of heavy and isn't usually something I'm looking towards in my science fiction, but who knows? This could be a banger. And I've been picking some good books this year, so fingers crossed that holds up. But what about you? What book or books would you have chosen based solely on their covers? Let me know down in the comments. And while you're there, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Until we meet again, may all the books you read be blessed.